Alrighty, here we are at the bus. It took us a couple hours to get here. We had a couple of errands to do. But we're here at the bus. One thing we need to do is the backings of the pleather. Hit another staple. We're going to have to bend these down. Sorry, folks. I've already poked my finger and caused myself to bleed once already. So these pleather backings on the seats, the school bus companies can still use. So we're planning on taking them off, and I'm going to go drop them off with the school bus company, and if they want them, they can have them. Yeah, they need extra backing seat covers, because this is what the kids damage the most. They graffiti on, or they cut them, or something, or whatever. So the other thing too is that we've got to figure out what to do with. Here, there's a camera or a screen on the back. We got to throw away all the styrofoam. So there's this styrofoam, and then actual styrofoam right here. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to be working on right now. We're going to work on taking the backings off of all of this. And
today we brought our other helper, which is our youngest son, Brandon.
Right, which if you saw on the video that I just posted minutes before we came here about me being in the hospital, and I apologize for not getting the vlog up in time. I already showed his face on that also. But anyway, that's what we're doing. So we're gonna. I have to leave because I forgot a couple of things. Plus, I need to get something to eat, and I got to be careful on what I eat. So I'm gonna leave real quick to go grab some big garbage bags for the styrofoam, and then and leave them at it, since I gotta watch my blood pressure. I gotta make sure I don't get it too high. So, but anyway, I'll be back. They're going to be working on it for the time being, and we'll just get at it and do what we need to do. So we pretty much got the bus cleaned up. We got it swapped. Marie's panicking, so she's running over. She's happy. Or we got it swapped, we got it swept. So here's the fun part. This little metal contraption thing here that I got my foot on has a bunch of nuts or a bunch of bolts and stuff like that in them. that cannot come out, so we got to grind off the top of the heads. The only problem is that is where the diesel fuel comes in at. And look at the puzzled look on his face, and my slightly concerned because I'm gonna let him do the grinding.
You never told me that.
No, actually, as it goes for diesel fuel, you can flick a lit cigarette. You could puff on a cigarette 3 or 4 times, get it as hot as can be. Flick it into diesel fuel, and it will not catch fire. Diesel fuel has a very high ignition rate. So sparks being flown into it and stuff like that can't hurt it either.
I got 1%.
And so Marie's flipping out because she's got 1% of her phone. She's a girl and she plays on her phone.
Not a whole
At
lot.
least get a portable charger, like I have.
But it's in my backpack right now.
She has a portable charger, but she keeps it in her work backpack.
No, it's in my backpack in the car. I'll have to go get it in a minute.
So anyway, this is the first time Brandon's grinding. So I've already explained to him what I want him to do. And depending on how well he's doing, depends on if I'm going to continue let him to do it or I'm going to kick him off of it and I'm going to do it. Always make sure you wear hearing protection like Mr. Brandon got there in his big ass ear, and safety glasses. Whoop, my screen went black. Safety glasses. Me and Marie must have misplaced our earplugs. Oh, I said earphones. Earplugs. We must have misplaced our earplugs, so we get to suffer with the sound, which is fine. I'm already deaf anyway, so I'm good with it. So, you ready?
Waiting.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting, you poor baby.
What, are you gonna film it?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Go ahead.
The people want to see sparks, son.
I'm gonna start with this back one and then just like work around.
Okay. Do it to it. Move Ray. Flip it all the way. Flip that switch all the way up, and it will. Oh, by the way, I will be doing music montage through this, so you guys don't have to listen to it.
I thought it spins that way, but it's
Right. So all the sparks are going to fly into the wall.
Alright. So do I have to hold it or just click it?
Push it all the way up, and it'll stay on running. Get in there, dude. Push it back.
I'm gonna move this handguard thing because they'd freaking flying right in my hand. Yeah. Takes a minute.
For somebody who's never grinded before, you sure as hell know how to use a grinder, because I didn't even know you did that, and I've been grinding a lot, way longer, way more years than you have.
Alright, now let's do this. Give this a whirl. I mean, it's still.
Alrighty, folks. Well, we started really late in the day, and so we didn't get as much done as what we wanted to.
But we got quite a bit done still.
Yeah, we got quite a bit done. We got all the styrofoam and the seats in garbage bags, which is this mess over here. And no, it doesn't look like it, but it's garbage bags with styrofoam in it. And then we got all the seats without the styrofoam on them, or the backing on them and stuff like that. And then we tried to get more of the floor up, but because it's nailed down, into the steel, into the to the steel plate, or not steel plate, sheet metal. Because it's nailed down in the sheet metal, it's harder than heck to pull it up. If you can pull the rubber stuff up off the wood, that'd be great. But the unfortunate part about it is that they glued the rubber on. And so earlier when I was talking about the fuel thing, we finally got it off. And I was hoping that it didn't actually come through the way that it did, but obviously from the looks of it, it did. So we kind of damaged the housing that goes around it. I might be able to bang it back out if I'm good, if I pay attention, if I'm good enough, and be able to reuse it. But then again, that hole, that's where the diesel fuel gets put in from the outside. And so what I need to do, I can make it smaller, and I can go and have a metal one smaller made to put over it, so in that way it doesn't take up as much room, because I wanted to move it because it's going to mess with cabinets and chairs and stuff like that, so on and so forth. So that's why I removed it. But now I'm regretting that I did. I wish I would have just left it alone, because now we got to figure out something to do. But the worst part about it is that this whole section of plyboard that we pulled up reeks of diesel, which means there's a diesel leak, which, matter of fact, how dark that hose is right there, that tells me that the diesel is leaking somewhere in that vicinity. And it actually leaked into the floor of the bus. And so the wood reeks of diesel. That, or unless the diesel, right there, that little half moon hole, that is a mechanic's access port for the top of the diesel tank. And technically, it ain't big enough. I'm going to see about what I can do about making it bigger without damaging the floor, and then having a company make a plate that we can slide in and screw down so it seals properly. But the one thing I was just thinking about too is that I gotta come outside. So that's why they had to come in, because right here, let me get behind the camera. So this box right here is part of the reason why it goes into the bus the way it does. If that box wasn't there, then I wouldn't have to have that much up there. So what I might see about doing is maybe cutting into the top of this box, because I think the hose is getting pinched back in through there. And hold on, let me get back inside, because when you look at the hose right there, it looks like it's pinched. And if it's pinched, then that means when diesel fuel is being pumped in and stuff like that, so on and so forth, then it could back up, and that's why it's leaking. So I might have to cut a hole in the top of that box underneath. Or, I mean, we need all the storage we can get, but we don't technically need storage right where the fuel thing is. I might just take that whole box out and just put sheet metal over it. And then that way that'll eliminate a majority of the problems right there. And I might be able to relocate the diesel fuel thing just underneath, and then I can put a big giant patch over this floor and cover it and be good. And then I don't have to worry about losing what little space that takes up inside the bus. So I'm gonna have to talk to some people to get some ideas on what would be the cheapest, quickest course of action. But that's for another day. So where's Brandon? There he is.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks. So we're gonna sign off for day 1. We got 3 days to work on the bus. So hopefully we can get all the floors up. And because we got to get this, some of this wood is soaking wet too. So we have to get this wood up to get the floors to start to dry and to get the rust to stop living, so we can sand the rust and put paint down and stop the rust from accumulating. And then it's onto the ceiling. And then we've got these panels to take out, which the panels are going to take a little bit also, because those are all pop riveted too, but we can't do what we're about to do with this. We can't do the same thing. We actually physically have to drill every single one of these out, and there's, I think, 250 on each side, or maybe 150 on each side. And so I got to get a whole bunch of 316 bits, drill bits, so that way we can get through it. Because some of those are going to stay on the drill bit. So as soon as we get the drill bit completely full, it's harder than heck, pardon my French. It's harder than heck to get them off the drill bit once you drill them through. So, but that's going to be a nightmare also. The floors, this, and that are going to be the biggest nightmare. Seats weren't too bad. They just had a difficult spot in a couple of spots. But the floor, the ceiling, and those metal panels on the wall are going to be nightmares. So
Hopefully next week on Wednesday we can get somewhat of a dump run happening to eliminate most of this.
Oops.
While we still have to keep the seats in for right now, but at least we can get the dump run taken care of, and then we'll have more space, and then after that we'll take care of all these seats as well. Open it up.
Yeah, we've got to. Our buddy's going to do a dump run, so some of this garbage stuff is going to be garbage, but the metal is going to be a metal run. We'll still have to deal with the metal quite a bit, because when we go in to take in the recycling metal, it'll be the seats, the ceiling, and these wall panels when we take it in. The dump run is some of the seat stuff that can't be used. And then all the styrofoam in the garbage bags that we did, and then all this wood that we're pulling up off the floor is all garbage dump stuff that we're going to take to the dump. Everything else is recycled metal. Anyway, signing off, y'all. Hey everybody, how's it going? We've been doing a little bit of work. We forgot to do the opener. Oops. That's okay though. All we did though was we took all the seats out and stuff like that. There's Mr. Brandon resting back there. Anyway, we just got all the stuff out so we can start tearing up the floor, which we're tearing up this section right here right now. So, back at it. Here we go. Okay, folks. Today is day 3. We didn't do an outro on day 2 because I forgot to bring an extra memory card. And we used up all the memory on the card that's in the camera now, so I had to spend all night last night making sure that we had plenty of stuff to film today. But for the most part, we got most of the floor up. Marie's not with us right now because we forgot the keys to the bus. And yes, as you can tell, we are in the bus, but I know how to break into it, and I'm not going to share that information. So, anyway, what I was saying though was that, here, watch out. As you can see, the wood is up, and we've got a lot of rust. And so, we got to deal with that today. The number one thing we got to deal with is this.
Unfortunately, yesterday when I was trying to get the floor up in, point the camera, in this vicinity right here, all this area had a piece of board on it, and I was trying to get that up, and
Here, come closer because the light.
I managed to do it, but I didn't realize that there was a tube right there with a bunch of coolant in it. And when I got the board up, I guess I kind of pinched the tube in the crowbar, so all of a sudden a bunch of coolant started leaking everywhere. That's also why there's all these pad-looking things laying all over the place.
Yeah, they're called Pig Mats. We're not sponsored by Pig Mat, but and I bought them online at Amazon, and they were kind of expensive, but they are the best kind of thing to have because one Pig Mat will soak up a gallon of oil or water or milk or whatever you happen to spill. So there's the, oh whoops, my address is right there, sorry. I know it's too far away, so you're not going to be able to see it, and I might cut that out. But actually here, let's do this. Let's go like that. There, Pig Mat. And then I'll just have to edit my address out. So, some of you have got good technology, and plus this with this new GoPro camera. This is a brand new one, the Hero 9. So I can shoot either in 4K or 5K, and I've been shooting everything in 5K. So for hopefully those of you with a 4K or 5K TV, this stuff looks really cool. Those of you that are just watching it on an iPhone or an iPad or whatever, it just looks like standard cell phone stuff. But until they make the pixels or the pictures better on phones and iPads and tablets and stuff like that, so on and so forth, you're not going to get the full effect of the 5K. But yeah, we're shooting in 5K. Yay! Anyway, Marie should be back here pretty soon. Me and him are going to work on the Sky Claw. It's antifreeze basically. So the way the buses work is that to get heat to the kids, obviously the engine, which is underneath all this mess right here, as the engine's running, of course it heats up the antifreeze. Excuse me, sorry. I had breakfast not too long ago and it's not agreeing with me. So right there in the floor, right here, there's a pump just underneath here, and then these two hoses are full of radiator fluid. Well, to keep this weird, ugly looking thing, it's called a heater, and this is what supplies heat to the passenger compartment for the kids. And so there's an inlet, there's a tube that comes in that brings the antifreeze in, and it goes all the way to the front of the bus because there's a heater. Well, you can't see it because of all the stuff in the way, but there's a heater underneath the dashboard area. So there's tubes that go all the way to the heater for the front, and then there's 3, you can't see the other one because it's buried underneath all these chairs and stuff. But there's another heater, small heater up there, and so that supplies heat to the kids in the bus. and to the defroster. So most people just cut all this out and then figure out a different way to defrost the windows in the front. Me being a gearhead and a mechanic and stuff like that and so on and so forth, I cannot. Here, I need to close this. The sunlight coming in from it's just causing too much glare. So anyway, I cannot just, I mean, I've already got a heater built into the bus. Sorry, there's some people walking by.
I want to close this, but I'm trying not to make too much noise.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Anyway, there's already a built-in heater in the dashboard area. And that supplies heat to the windshield and stuff like that, and heat to me. So I don't see any reason why I should get rid of that. Plus, not to mention too, that if I run new hose, one solid piece of hose from this point here all the way to the front where it connects up there, and then run it back, then during the winter time, so pipes don't freeze and stuff like that, so on and so forth, I can turn on the bus and get it running and get the antifreeze going, and it'll keep the water unfrozen in the pipes. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, anyway, that's what we're gonna do right now. We're just gonna work on these antifreeze hoses until Marie gets here with the key, and then we'll get all the junk out of the middle of the bus so we can have plenty of room. We got one more piece of wood up front right behind the driver's seat we got to pull out, but I've got to detach my seat belts because I didn't realize they detached the seat belts into that piece of plyboard up front. And I hope there ain't screws underneath, because otherwise I got to crawl back underneath the bus again to just get those nuts out. But those ones we have to keep because I got to have seat belts. So
we also got this super tiny piece right here under this heater area.
Oh yeah, there's a little piece of metal that's screwed in. Oh yeah, that's right. But he was just touching. There's a piece of wood right there. We just got to get that up, and then all the wood is up except for the wood underneath my driver's seat and the wood that's from my driver's seat to the stairs outside the bus. So, and actually I'm pretty hot and I need to watch my blood pressure, so I'm probably going to take a sit for a second or two. Marie should be here by then, and then we can work on getting some other stuff done. So I'm going to shut you guys off right now, but I'll turn you back on when we start doing I mean, you guys already seen us take the seats out and bring them back in, so you don't need to see that again. But when we start doing the hoses and stuff like that, I'll make sure that we get that in. So that way you guys know what to do if you happen to be watching or watching someone else's channel do it. Whichever. I hope you're watching ours. Anyway, talk to you guys later. just as I went to start the camera to show you what we did and stuff like that, all of a sudden the battery died and the camera shut off. So, and I said it was gonna die, so oh well. Anyway, so that's what we did. We got the floor up. Well, he did. So did she. Her and her big mouth wide open. So, all the floor is up. We've got the, we still got to figure out how to get these glycol tubes out, hoses. These two heaters here are completely empty. That big heater there is completely empty. So what I did, unfortunately we lost a little bit too much glycol fluid. Like I was saying earlier, one of those hoses is an in hose and the other one's an out hose, which means there's hot glycol that comes in one hose, goes all the way up to the top, comes back through, works through the heaters, blah blah blah, and then goes right back to the engine. And so that's what I did, was I took one of the hoses and made that loop there. And I just went ahead and started the bus, and I was going to let it run for a little bit to charge up the batteries and stuff like that, but unfortunately the coolant light came on, which means I'm kind of surprised though. I'm kind of surprised. We are facing down towards the street. So I figured most of the glycol would stay in the engine compartment, but I guess it kind of leaked out a little bit too much. But we've got pig mats all over the place. We've got all the glycol cleaned up. I think the ground isn't wet anymore. It's wet in a couple of spots. But yeah, there's definitely no glycol leaking out of the bus anymore. So that's part, you just gave me a dirty look for some strange reason. So in every single bus where the fuel tanks are, there are holes in the floors for fuel access. So I'm not quite exactly sure what the round hole is for, but that one is to get to some other things. To be honest, this whole panel, that whole panel thing could be a lot bigger, so you can get a lot better access to the top of the sorry for the noise, to the top of the fuel tank, so you can take care of some things if needed be. So don't rest your leg on the button, because now that there's power to the bus, the horn will honk. So now it's cleanup time. I know I didn't film very much today, but between everything that was going on today and everything else, there was a lot of cussing and everything else. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna wipe you guys off a little bit. Ah, there we go. I didn't realize why I was all smudged up. Turn the power off to the bus. So we are done for the day. This is day 3. We didn't get much done, unfortunately. Next week is going to be garbage stuff, getting garbage out and doing dump runs and stuff like that. And that way we don't have so much after evening stuff to take care of, like, you know, carrying all this stuff in and out. I wanted to wait to get rid of all the chair stuff and stuff like that when we tear the ceiling out. Depending on how hard it's going to be to get the ceiling out, depends on if I might see about renting a truck and just doing a metal haul just to get the chairs done and out of the way. So yeah. Anyway, I'm a little tired. We got a lot of cleanup to get done, so I'm gonna let you all go. I know the videos aren't very entertaining. I'm doing my best, and I'm trying to edit in such a way to make them entertaining and try not to make them boring. So bear with me. It's gonna be a little bit. So y'all have a good one. Me and Marie and our friend will see you next Wednesday for dump day. So have fun, and we'll see you guys next time.